Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be doing my ride or die. I think this was a tag a long time ago, but my ride or die products that I always know are going to work for me, that are like, if I had to give up everything else, these would be products that I absolutely would use, that I could only keep in my makeup bag till the end of time. All these products are, some are high-end, some are drugstore, but it's a good mixture of both, I think, and I would confidently 100% recommend all these products to you guys. These are products that I just have loved. They're my ride or dies. So if you want to see what ride or die products I have, then just keep on watching. Also, this look that I'm wearing today, I just tried filming a ColourPop haul that is some stuff that I had bought on their website a couple weeks ago, and I thought I was recording, which I did, but the sound on my mic was off again the whole time. So I'm gonna have to re-film this look right here. I'm really bummed because I loved the way it turned out. So unfortunately, that video is gonna have to come later on in the week. I'm gonna have to sit down and re-record it, which really sucks because I was like pretty much done before I realized that the mic was off. So yeah, this look will be up. It'll just be up later on in the week because I'm going to have to refilm it. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so I think in no particular order, well, I should probably do it how you would apply it to your face. Now keep in mind, I didn't pick any brushes because I feel like brushes, makeup brushes by themselves are in a whole different category. So I would have to do a whole dedicated video on my ride or die brushes. But there is like one or two brushes that I included in this because you have to kind of use them with other products. But I can do a separate video on brushes that I would highly suggest. Starting off, I believe with like prep and priming, I'm gonna just probably skip over moisturizers and all that. But as far as priming the face goes, I had to pick two because they do two different things. But Makeup Forever Skin Equalizer Step 1 and the Skin Equalizer Mattifying Primer. I use both of these. If I had to pick one out of both of them that I could only use for the rest of my life, it would be the Step 1 Skin Equalizer, the smoothing base one. This reminds me of like the it's like pore filling, and it reminds me of like the Benefit Professional that everyone loves. I like this one better, but I've been using the mattifying one lately, and this is like the more darker gray of the two, and this is the one I've been using lately. But if I had to just pick one, I would go with this one. If you're looking for more, you know, filling in your pores and things like that, this one's just going to mattify your face, but I think together they work really well. These are like up at the check stand, and I think they run about 16 bucks, but they do last me. I've had this one already for a few months, and you just use the tiniest little bit, so they're gonna last you. These are my ride or die for primers. So moving on to, I would say, foundation. Foundation. Now, I mean, there's tons of foundations out there. There's tons that I've tried, but the one that I feel like is always tried and true and always works for me is the Better Skin from Maybelline. And this one's actually my empty bottle. I already went through one, which is very highly, like, it takes me a while to go through a whole foundation bottle, but as you can see, it's pretty empty. This is in the shade 80 Rich Tan. And I really like this foundation. It has SPF 15, and it's a really good foundation. It's not too heavy on the face. It does come with a pump, and I believe it's like only $7 at Ulta. I have recommended it to other people before, and they have really liked it. So this is one that I would suggest if you're out there and you have oily skin, or you just want to try a new foundation from the drugstore. This is like my ride or die. If I could only wear one foundation for the rest of my life, I would have to go with this one. I'm more of a drugstore foundation person. I've tried a lot of high-end ones, and they just don't ever work out for me for some reason, but this one right here has just been really good to me, and I feel like it just looks good on my skin all the time when I wear it. It lasts a long time, and I'm really, like, I mean, if I had to only pick one, I would go with this one. I will list all the products down below that I mentioned in this video down below for you guys, so if you want to check them out, you can. Just make sure you check that bottom bar down below so you know all the products that I'm talking about. Okay, so moving on from foundation, we're gonna go to concealer. You guys already know what concealer I'm gonna say. This is the Tarte Shapetape concealer. I mean, I couldn't pick anything else. This is my ride or die. I mean, ever since I've been using this like 8 months ago, it's been the concealer that I always go for. This is in the shade, again, medium, and if you guys haven't tried this, you need to. It's such a good concealer. It's definitely worth all the hype that you know it gets out of it. It is a more thicker consistency, but it is so good. I really like it, and it's definitely, it holds its own. It's like my favorite concealer of all time. All right, moving on. We are gonna go to setting powders. You guys already know my ride or die setting powder. It is the Laura Mercier setting powder. I mean, I don't know if you're not using this, I don't know where you've been. If you haven't heard about it, you've been living under a rock. It's the loose powder. It's in translucent. This is like, if I could only use one powder for the rest of my life, it would be the Laura Mercier powder. It's just so thin and finely milled. I love it. It always looks so good on my skin. It doesn't look powdery or cakey. It's just, it's my boo. I love this powder so much. I use it to set underneath my eyes, sometimes to bake. I'm not a huge baker, but I do sometimes, if we go out, I'll use it to bake like right here in the crease. My probably like set it on top of my oily areas, but it is so good. I love this stuff. Now, if you want an alternative from the drugstore, another favorite, if I had to pick maybe just from drugstore, would be the Fit Me Loose powder from Maybelline. This is another good one that I really, really like. You know, it came down to, and I had to only pick one to use forever and ever. It would be the Laura Mercier one. Or I would say for underneath my eyes, I wanted to throw in a powder that I use for just underneath my eyes like all the time. Like the Laura Mercier one I use, but it's kind of messy because it's the loose powder. But this right here is the contour palette, the contouring palette Contour. It's in Caramel Toffee, and it's the one from Wet n Wild. You can see that I've already hit pan on this side. You guys, I freaking love this powder. I mean, if you haven't tried these, you need to. They're only like $6, maybe $10 at the most, depending on where you get it from. But it's so good. I use the yellow powder to set underneath my eyes after I use my concealer. And sometimes when I put concealer on my forehead or my chin, I'll put some of this powder on top. But it is so good. I love this powder so much. I wish that Wet n Wild would only sell like a whole pan of just this banana powder, because it would be amazing. I do use the bronzer on the side, but it is very like warm toned bronzer, so I don't really use it all the time, but I have used it before in the past. You can see right there, it is pretty warm. But I mean, I love this stuff so much. It's such a good deal, and I travel with this. This is my ride or die right here. I'm gonna say that for bronzer, obviously, it's the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. This is like my all-time, oh my gosh, like ride or die product right here. You can see I've hit pan on a few of the shades in here. I seriously never use this one up here. I've sometimes used this one, but this one I've used underneath my eyes as well. And these two, I end up just mixing all three of them and going in and contouring my face. I've had this palette for so long, and I barely just hit pan on these, and this one's like probably my favorite shade, as obviously these two are my favorite. But this one's good for really deepening up that contour. I love this palette so much. I love that the colors, they're not muddy at all. They're so good. Unfortunately, this palette is expensive. It's like $54. But word on the street is you can find this at TJ Maxx, Ross, or Marshall's. I just have yet to find it at any of mine, and I've been looking for months. I know that they're like, I think $20 there. They were like 14 before, and now they raised the pricing, but I still cannot find them. What I think I'm gonna do is once I run out of these two and this one, I'm gonna just buy the shades separate, because I know in her new palettes that she sells the colors separately, so they're just like magnetized. So I'd rather just buy individual ones and just keep them in like a little palette by themselves or something, because I never use these two. I mean, I do use this, but not as hard as these two. So this is like my ride or die. I usually travel with this as well. It's so good. I mean, if you guys can afford high end, or if you want to spend that much, I've literally had this palette for like, it has to be over a year and a half, maybe even 2 years. I know after a few, I think after a year, you're supposed to throw them away, but I am not throwing away a palette that I paid $54 on until every single color that I use is gone. So this is a good one for contouring. You guys, you have to try this. So that is for bronzer for me. And then moving on to, well, I do want to mention this. I know that I said like brushes and stuff I want to talk about in a different video, but I do want to share with you my ride or die sponge applicator for concealer and foundation. This is the L'Oreal sponge. I really, really like it. Look how squishy it is even when it's not wet. This is dry right now, but I love this for concealer, for baking, for putting on my foundation. It's such a good sponge. It's probably the best sponge that I've found at the drugstore that I really, really like. I do like the original Beauty Blender, but they're 20 bucks and they don't last. I mean, they last me, but I just hate spending $20 on a sponge. I have so many of them, but this one is like my favorite out of all the ones that I've tried. It's so good. And I think at the drugstore, it's like $7 or $8. I got this one at Ulta, so it was a little bit more, but I know that if you go to like Walmart, you can get it probably for the cheapest. But if you guys are looking for a good sponge, this is one that I would definitely try out. Moving on to, I think I'll do brows next. My Ride or Die brow products. I used to be a powder person. I used to really love the Anastasia powder, which I do use. It's my favorite. But lately I've been more into like dramatic brows, and this right here, the Kbrow Benefit, I mean, this is my favorite now. I use this all the time. I can get dramatic looks. I can get softer looks with a lighter hand. This is in the color 4, and I love it. And actually I use the brush on this, even though it's little. This is the brush that I do use to apply it. Before I use it, I'll use a makeup wipe to really clean it off, and like it really makes the brow like really precise if you wipe it off and then use it. But I mean, I love this pomade. I know that there's pomades out there that are probably very similar, but I have used quite a bit and I am really happy with this. I'm glad that I tried it out because I love it. It's so good. And then to carve out my brows, this is another brush that I was going to mention. Carve out my brows, it's the Wet n Wild. I want to say it's the small concealer brush. This is like my Ride or Die brush. Like I have to have this to carve out my brows. And the product I use is beige, the NYX Full Coverage Concealer. I use this for just carving out my brows. I don't use it as a regular concealer. I use it to just carve out my brows. So this is what you guys always see when I go in and clean my brows up. This is what I use. It's my favorite. Like these products right here are my holy brow grail, you know, like holy brow grail products that I have to have. And then to set my brows is the Brow Precise Volume Fiber Volumizer, and this is another product that I use all the time on my brows to set. I used to use this L'Oreal one, and I do still like it, but I feel like this Precise Volumizer, because it has like little fibers in it, I feel like this holds my brows a hell of a lot better than the other one does, and I don't know if you guys can see the little fibers, but it just makes them full and it really holds them. And this little skinny part in the front like really gets the tail. So if you guys, you know, I have long brow hairs, so if you really need them tamed, I would try this one out. It's so good. Now moving on to, I'm gonna probably say mascaras, and then we'll go to blush. For my lashes that I have on and lashes that I think are really easy to use, like if I only could ever wear these lashes again, this is the Demi Wispies Salon Perfect lashes, and these are so good if you want something nice and fluttery and not too dramatic, but I mean just enough. These are like, I would highly suggest trying these ones out. And with mascara, okay, I know it's a high-end mascara, but it is so worth it, and I've gotten it on sale every time, so that's why I've bought it, I believe. But I think I bought one full-size one that was regular price. This is normally a $21 mascara, and the last time I think it was on sale for $11, and even $11 is like E. I know there's mascaras out there, but like this Urban Decay Perversion mascara, I don't know what it is. I freaking love this mascara. The way that the wand is and everything, the way it makes my lashes look, like I love this mascara. This is like my Ride or Die. This is all I've been wearing lately. This mascara, I love it way better than the Better Than Sex mascara. I just think it makes my lashes look really full and fluttery. So you need something volumizing, but just makes them look really full and not clumpy. You need to try this Urban Decay mascara. It's so good. Oh, also for lash adhesive, this is the Clear Lash Strip Adhesive. I think this is from the Kiss brand, and it has aloe. Again, another Ride or Die product. I have to use this to put my lashes on. You see, Jazz is the one that got me hooked on this. She's tried different eyelash glues and I was in the market for a new one because I've tried a few too that don't hold as well. This one she talks about all the time in all her videos, but I really started liking this because of her and I'm like totally hooked. I've tried other ones in the past too and they just don't work out. It does have a brush tip to it, which makes it really easy for application. And let me tell you, when this is on your lashes aren't going anywhere. Like, I've never had a problem with them coming off or anything like that. This is such a good lash adhesive, and I want to say it's only like $6 or $7 at Walmart. So if you're looking for a new lash glue, I would suggest you guys trying that out. Moving on to blush, my ride or die blush color that I mean, I've had so many different blushes and I wear so many different ones, but I don't know what it is, but this is like my MAC blush. This is in the color Blushbaby. This is like my ride, or I mean, look at that. It's totally hit pan. I love this color so much. It goes with every look. I can wear this with anything, just a little bit of wash, or if you want like a really intense, you know, flush on your cheeks. This is just such a good color. Like, I just love it. It's very pinky, but you can like build it up. I don't know if you guys can really see that on my skin, but it's right there. It's just such a perfect pink color. It looks good in summer, fall, winter. This is just like my favorite. I love this so much. It's such a good blush. All right, moving on. Eyeliners. For wing liner, I would say my ride or die is the Physicians Formula eyeliner pen. I've recently got into this probably actually a few months back. I hauled it a while ago, but this is like, I love this pen so much. It's so good. You get such an easy wing with it. I love this pen so much. Now, I had bought the wrong color. This is black, but they sell an ultra black. I haven't opened that one yet because this one's still giving me ink out of it, so I want to make sure I use this one up before I use the other one. But this is such a good liner. It just makes making a wing really easy, and you can really like drag it across your eyes. So if you're getting into wing liner, I would suggest you guys trying the Physicians Formula. Watch for coupons because it is kind of expensive. I want to say it's like $11, but Ulta has like buy one get one, so you could always, you know, try to get one on sale. But this is such a good pen. I would say for regular liner, the ColourPop. This is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. It's the ColourPop liner, cream gel liner. It's in the color Serve. It's just black. But it's such a good liner. It's really, you know, I do this on my waterline and up top. It doesn't smudge or anything at all. These are pretty affordable too. I want to say they're $6, but I really love this liner. It's a really good one. It's one of my favorites. Also another, I would have to say another ride or die. Like if I had to pick out of these two, it'd actually probably be the NYX one. This one is, I have like barely anything left at all. I just bought another one. It's the two, I believe it's the two, I don't know, I've had it for so long you can't even read it. But it comes with a felt tip on one side and the regular black liner on the other side. But I always just use the black liner. This one dried out a long time ago, but this liner is so good. I would say like out of the two, I'd probably pick the NYX one more, but they're both really good liners. And now moving on to eyeshadow, I would have to say for priming, the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is like such a good primer for your eyes to keep your eyeshadow on. I love this primer. I know there's tons of different ones out there, but this is such a good primer to keep on your shadows without creasing, things like that. I really like this eyeshadow primer. It's the best. I want to say it's under $10 and it's really good. Last but certainly not least, for eyeshadow palettes. There's so many different eyeshadow palettes out there, and I'm thinking, okay, what's one eyeshadow palette that I had to wear for the rest of my life? Like, what would it be out of all the ones that I have? I always like, I could probably just travel with this all the time, but it is my Too Faced Chocolate Bar, the original one. You guys, this is such a good palette. Like there's colors in here I haven't even touched. I don't know why. Now that I'm getting better into makeup, I need to start using this, like the colors more often. But this right here is such a good everyday palette to have. I know like it looks a lot of like warm colors and kind of boring, but I'm telling you, it's everything you need in like a palette that like, I mean, there isn't, the only thing there's not a black in here, but I don't really use black a lot. I know a lot of people say like, well, it's only a full palette if it has like a matte black in it. If you don't use black, I don't really think it's a huge deal, but I mean, there's a really deep black, like almost looks like dark brown black shade in here, so it works because I've used it for liner. But this is, I mean, this palette is just, it's such a good palette, and it's kind of expensive. I want to say it's like 50 bucks, but for one, it smells like chocolate. But it's so good. Like my favorite shades, I don't want to blind you guys, but my favorite shades in here are Marzipan, the gold one, and this transition one. You have a brow highlighting shade, you have a deeper, like, you know, if you wanted to do something more fun, like a green color up here, you know, purples, pinks, but these mostly, like this highlighter shade, there's even a highlighting shade down here that you could actually use as a highlighter. But these shades right here, I would say these are the most used ones, especially this Marzipan color. I freaking love that color. It's so pretty on the lid. And then your brow bone shade right here. I mean, they're just, it's such a good palette. It's so diverse. You can use it. And honestly, if this was like one palette that everyone took all my makeup and I only had one eyeshadow palette to use, it would be this. This was like my first high-end eyeshadow palette I ever bought. I used it all the time. Now that I have so many different ones, I tend to forget that I have this and I don't use it as much. But this is the one that I always travel with because it has a mirror and everything. It's just, it's such a good palette, and if there was one I just had to use for the rest of my life, it would be this one. I totally forgot about lips. Hang on just a second. Okay, so for lips, I'm not a huge, I mean, I wear liquid lips, I buy stuff, I wear lipsticks, things like that, but I'm more of a lip gloss wearer, honestly. But there is a liquid lip that I probably could wear with everything that would always look good, and a lip gloss that I'm going to mention because like I said, I'm not a huge lipstick wearer, so there's not one color that I absolutely couldn't live without, but there is one lip gloss that I could not live without. I mean, I wear this with everything. It is the Revlon. It's the Revlon lip gloss in the color neutral, I want to say. Super natural. This is what it looks like. This is like my ride or die favorite lip gloss. I mean, it's like a pinky sheen, you know, it's not too pink, it's not too opaque, it's not too anything. It's just the perfect nude lip color, like lip gloss, if you wanted to go over anything. I love this lip. Like if I had to get rid of every lip, anything that I had to keep this. Like there's no doubt about it. So if you're looking for a good lip gloss, it's not too sticky or tacky. It doesn't really have a gross smell. It doesn't smell at all, actually. It's not too, like, you know, when you put your lips together and it stick, doesn't have any of that. It's just a good everyday lip gloss. So if you're looking for a lip gloss just for something like natural, no like huge pigment or anything like that, you need to try this. So it's like, again, the Revlon Super Natural. It's my favorite. Another favorite of mine, like liquid lipstick, would be this combo is so pretty on the lips, would be this NYX Liquid Suede. I think the color is Sandstorm, and that's what that looks like. And just the flat applicator. This is another favorite of mine, but this combo together, that's the color right there, and then that's the lip gloss. The combo together is so good. You could wear it with anything and it just pairs so well. So these two are probably my ride or die lipstick, lip gloss combo, whatever you want to call it. My favorite. Yeah, guys, so those are all my ride or die products that I could not live without. Like, if I only had these products for the rest of my life, I would be totally okay with that. Chit chat. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm going to refilm this look that I'm wearing right now. Hopefully, you guys will be able to hear the sound this time. So look forward to this look coming again really soon. And I love you guys so much. And until next time, I will see you soon. Bye!